What tools do I use? Well, this question I was asked the other day, it wasn't very specific, so I'll just go through all the different areas that I work in, and I'll explain what tools I have. Now, before I start, unfortunately some people will kind of use this kind of tools or lack of resources for not getting started. I don't have the right tools, I don't have this, I don't have Wi-Fi, I don't have all these different things, and they will throw all these excuses in their way as a reason for not getting things done. But as I said many times before, somebody out there in the world is doing far more than you are with less resources than you have. So some people mightn't have access to Wi-Fi, some people mightn't have access to a laptop, but you will find that they are probably taking far more action with the limited resources that they have. So don't use an excuse of not having access to tools as a reason for not getting started. Get started from where you are. Now, when it comes to writing, one of the best pieces of tools, or the best writing tools I had used, was Scrivener. Now, Scrivener is a paid product, and when you do open it for the very first time, it does look really, really complicated. But I'm here to tell you that if you stick with it, there is only a few things you need to learn how to do. You'll find a lot of that information, I'd imagine, on YouTube, but there are some training courses on how to use Scrivener. But if you don't have access to Scrivener, you can use something like as simple as Google Docs. If you've got access to Google Docs, you can do all your writing on that. If you've got access to Microsoft Word, do all your writing on that. Just do it with whatever you have access to. You know, don't use it as an excuse not to get started. Now, as for what tools do I use for my website and social media and all those different things, well, the blog itself, or the website itself, is a WordPress one. So that is what is the kind of platform, or the software behind the platform on that. As for my social media, I do use a couple of things to automate everything. So there is a wonderful website you can go to, and it's free to use, and it's called Ifttt Then This. Now, I use that regularly, and what happens is when I write a post or when I create a video or something like that, I use this service. Now, what this service does is it links all your different things together. So what it'll do is it will link maybe your WordPress blog to your Facebook page, to your Twitter page, to LinkedIn, maybe to Buffer, or all these different places. And what it'll do is as soon as you hit the publish button on your blog, Ifttt Then This takes over, and what it'll do is it'll share all that content on all those different platforms without you actually having to go to all those different places, load up that piece of content and do whatever you need to do to make it nice and pretty. The software on that website will do everything for you. So that's what I do use. So when I hit publish on a video or a blog post, I have it going to my Facebook page, I have it going to Twitter, I have it going to, I think, Blogger, Tumblr, all those different places all over the web. Now, I haven't been in any of those platforms in years, but the software does all that for me. So if you are looking to maybe save yourself some time, not having to go to all those places to repost that content there, go over to Ifttt Then This. Now, it's ifttt.com. I think you'll need to do a Google search just to find the exact link, but I highly recommend it. That is one tool that I do use. And at the moment I'm also using Buffer. Now, at the moment the reason I'm using Buffer is again to automate a lot of social media. What you can do with Buffer is you can there is a free option and there's a paid option. Now, the free option allows you to maybe build up maybe 10 posts in the future, so you can be 10 posts ahead of yourself. So again, this could be for Facebook, could be Twitter. If you have any images or any quotes or anything like that you'd like to load up, and to save yourself some time, rather than going to all these platforms every day, again reposting the content, I use Buffer to do that. Now, one thing I like about Buffer is that you can actually make quotes, or you can actually make attractive images for your social media platforms with Buffer. Now, Buffer has another sideline tool called Pablo, P-A-B-L-I-O. Now, if you do a search, I'm sure you'll find, I think it's pablo.buffer.com, you'll find that tool. But what you will find is when you install Buffer, and if you install it, they have a little extension you can use for Google Chrome, and if you install the Chrome extension, when it comes to maybe a piece of text on a blog post or a piece of text maybe you had written before, what you can do is you can simply just select it, highlight it, right click on it, and then you'll find in your drop down menu you'll find the buffer option, and it'll say, do you want to create an image with Pablo? So what you can do is you can simply say yes to that. That piece of text then will be taken over to Pablo, and you'll find that the page will load up there, and then Pablo will give you the chance then to put an attractive background on it, tidy up your text, have maybe a little call to action or your website details or whatever on the bottom of it, and then what you can do is you can simply just take that image then from Pablo and you can throw it into your buffer queue. So you don't even need to download it, you don't need to do anything with it, and it's really, I find it very helpful. So what I can do is I can simply go through some of my past posts, I can go through maybe some of my emails. Sometimes I might find a quote or a line from an email that I can use and it would look really good for an image on social media. And again, Pablo is free to use. Again, buffer does allow, I think it's 10 posts or something like that, or 8 posts. So even if you're skint, you can maybe have a day or two social media content all packaged and ready to go. So you can do it, you only need to maybe go back to that every third day or something like that if you want to use the free option. But if you go with the paid option, I think at the moment it's $10 a month, which is absolutely, it's pennies. So what you can do is you can even go further with the paid one. You can do maybe 20 or 30 or maybe 40 pieces of content, load it all into buffer, and buffer will take care of it. So it means you can automate all that, and then it can go out at any time of the day. So depending on where you live, you can have it maybe set up to be posted at American time, which might be the opposite to where your time is at the moment. So those are the 3 tools that I use. I use buffer, I use Ifttt, then this, and I use a WordPress blog. So those are probably the only tools. The tools I'm using right now at the moment to record these videos, I'm basically just simply walking around with an iPhone in my hand and I'm recording these videos. So there's not really that many tools that I really use. As I said, don't kind of build it up in your head that you need to have all this stuff before you get started. Start from where you are. Do whatever you can with what you have. If you have only got Google Docs, use Google Docs to do your writing. You don't need Scrivener or anything like that. When you do get maybe a little bit more experience, you get maybe some more cash in, then I would go ahead and buy the tools. So don't think that you have to spend a fortune, because unfortunately it's like those people who go and think, well, I need to exercise, I need to buy an exercise machine, I need to buy a treadmill, and before you know it, then all those stuff is lying in the bedroom and they're all being used as a clothes rack, but they're never ever going to be used. Whereas, the cheapest option that person could have done was just to buy a pair of runners and just start walking it in the street. It's the cheapest option, and then if they found they liked it, stick with it. Then you can slowly add the tools over time. So don't get too caught up in tools. And again, if you are receiving a lot of mail from internet marketers telling you need to get this tool and that tool, the majority of times you don't. A lot of those things are automation, and they are usually robbing somebody else's pieces of content. So do you really want to use other people's content on your social media? You're better off having your own unique content. So again, use buffer, use Pablo, use Ifttt, then this, create all the content yourself and put it out there. And again, any video content, simply just record it on your phone, talk to your phone. You don't even need a fancy studio. I'm just walking around the field right now, as you can see. That is my studio today. So don't think that you need anything fancy. Go basic, and then if you find you are successful, if you find that things are working, well, then you can throw maybe some cash into it. But use what you have. Don't think you need wonderful things to do it. Sometimes, it's better even just to watch somebody in a rough video rather than watching somebody who is too professional in a studio and all those different things. I might come across better on this video because it's kind of rough and ready. I'm out here walking in a field, rather than me having maybe a suit on me, having some green screen behind me and having it all professional and everything like that. There mightn't be as much of a connection between you and me because of that. So again, those are the tools I use. Go out there, get started with what you can. Don't hold yourself back because you haven't got access to everything right now. So if you'd like to ask me a question like that person did, if you want to reach out to barryjmcdonald@gmail.com. Now if you go to the WriteCome site right now, WriteCome.com, you'll find a great free report at the moment called Words to Wealth, and in it I'm going to show you 10 different ways you can make money from your writing. And in this free report I'm going to show you how anyone can make money from writing. You don't even need to be a great writer. You don't actually need to do a lot of writing to make money. Now, if that intrigues you, or you'd like to test it out and challenge me, head over to WriteCome, download the free report, and let me know how you get on with it. And as always, if you're looking for any more pieces of this content, podcasts, videos, or if you'd like to know what I'm making next, just do a search for WriteCome, WriteCome.com, and you'll find the content all over the web. And again, it's thanks to Ifttt, then this, or Buffer. So as always, have a good day, take care, bye bye.